Hello, welcome to the Submarine Force Museum. I'm Commander Brad Boyd, Director of the Museum and Officer in Charge of Historic Ship Nautilus. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 20mm autocannon that you see behind me. Now this has been one of the weapons employed by U.S. submarines during World War II as either anti-aircraft defense or small boat attack. It did not fire the same size round as the deck gun that we saw previously. That fired a 5-inch shell. This fires a 20mm shell, or 0.78 inches. And so much smaller round, but you can carry more of them and a much higher rate of fire. So it makes it much better for like anti-aircraft, or if you're going after a smaller target where an explosive round like the 20mm round they fired would make more of a dent. So with that, I'm going to pause for a second and I'll take a closer view. Hold on. All right, so the 20mm cannon, each submarine would have at least one of these mounted after the sail, which is the part that sticks up. But once World War II started, the Navy quickly realized that it needed a lower profile for the sail. And so they modified the existing boats, and all the new boats that were built after that had a reduced sail, and as a result, actually had a space for a second gun forward of the sail. So most of them ended up with two 20mm autocannons. The cannon, as you see here, was actually fired from this position here. So, and here's the actual switch that takes it from safe to fire. So that's it. That's the safety switch there. It was fired from here and loaded from right here. So it's a two-man operation. Now the gun is 83.5 inches long overall and 55-inch barrel. So from there to there is about 55 inches. It's a blowback operation. So when the round's fired, the recoil is absorbed by this spring right here, moving this slide back, and then taking a round from the drum, feeding it into the chamber, and refired. It fires at a rate of 470 rounds a minute, but the drum, which comes in 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, or 100 round capacity. This one is, I hope you can see it right there, that's a 60 round drum. But with the 60 round drum, that means you get about just under 8 seconds of firing before you're empty. So the original purpose of this gun was actually anti-aircraft, which works great when you're on a ship and you have multiple sets of these guns firing at once so that you continuously have fire placed on the approaching aircraft. However, on a submarine, that means you get 8 seconds before you reload, and it takes a while to reload, and in the meantime, the aircraft can still do damage to you. So even if you have two guns, you're going to have a period of time where you're vulnerable. And so the primary method of defense from an aircraft attack on a submarine was not to actually duke it out on the surface, but to run and hide, dive, go deep, get out of the way, and live to fight another day. But there were times where if you're in really shallow water, you just can't get away. So that's what this gun would primarily its purpose for. But the other part was actually used more often for was small craft. So if you have a small wooden ship, torpedo really isn't your great weapon for that. And you could use this gun in conjunction with or instead of the 5-inch deck gun. And this one fires an explosive shell, which works really well on small wooden craft. And that's the primary purpose of this 20mm cannon. As said, there was at least one, almost always two of these on the submarines in World War II. And as the war went on, the COs, and we got towards the end of the war, and deck gun action became more and more prevalent because the larger targets that warranted a torpedo were already destroyed or unable to go to sea. And so the small craft became the primary target, and so they needed more firepower. And so they started looking for the 40mm deck gun version of this. So double the size shell, a little more explosive power to be used. So, all right. Hope you enjoyed today's tour, and if you have any questions, please let us know. But with that, thanks. Bye.